Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm back today with a VR. I haven't done one for a while, and this one is for Astro Boy Ricardo, who I recently discovered. I've really enjoyed some of his content. I really like that he does lots of Myers-Briggs and astrology with tarot, but he did this hashtag, which I thought was a really good idea, and it's Deal Breaker Tarot Cards. And he did his top 5, and basically that was his the top 5 cards that he looks at first if he's flicking through a deck or watching a flip through or a walk through. The cards that he looks for that really can swing the decision for him about whether he buys a deck or not. And I think we all have those cards. I had a couple of cards the same as his. I think, yeah, there was a couple of cards actually that I had chosen that they were the same as his, but I've actually chosen 6. I couldn't get it down to 5, so I've got my top 6 cards that are kind of deal breakers for me. They're not entirely deal breakers, but they are the cards that I like to see in a certain way. So the first card that I've got here is the Hermit, and for each of these cards I've got several cards from my decks to show you, some more than others, because in some decks I like more of the cards than others. So you'll see there's some cards from some decks in some piles and some not in others, but there you go. So I thought I'd just start with the Rider-Waite-Smith, just so that you're all familiar. So this is the Hermit, and I like the Hermit. The Hermit is a kind of deal breaker for me because I'm a Virgo. I am a hermit. I've always been a bit of a hermit. Not only a real homebody, but somebody that really is in search of sort of understanding. You know, the hermit always has his lantern, and he's always alone, or she's always alone, and through this kind of solitude is growth happens. I think is what I like about the Hermit is it, yeah, it's to do with the lantern, I think, more than anything. I don't really mind whether the person is male or female or young or old. I want to see the lantern. I want to see the light. And in this card here, this is the Light Seekers deck. I really like this one. I just like that she's just completely removed from everything, really. She's just floating above everything, and she's in her own little world, and I really like that. This one is from the Everyday Witch, which is a new deck to me, but to be honest, I loved all the cards in this deck. They've all just got a really nice vibe about them. But this is just lovely. She sat in the woods. She's got her cat, she's got her fire, which is like the lantern, she's got all her witchy bits. And in the tree is the owl. And the owl, to me, represents that understanding and wisdom and enlightenment, I guess, that comes from these periods of solitude and stillness in our lives. There's obviously a dark side, or a darker side, to the Hermit energy, because I think anybody who spends too much time alone or at home alone, it's not always a healthy thing. You can end up disappearing up your own bum, is how I like to think of it. And I've done that many times. You know, you can just end up disappearing down a rabbit hole. It's not the best thing to be alone all the time, but I think these times of solitude and stillness and quiet and reflection, I just think, well, for me, they're just essential. This one's from the Sassurabito Tarot. I really like this one too. This one Let's have a look at the book, actually. I'll read what it says in the book. Stacia Barrington. It's got such a nice little guidebook with her deck. And to be honest, there are some cards in the Sasrabito that I absolutely love and some that I really, really don't like. And so I don't use it as often as I should, perhaps, or would like to. But I do very much like the Hermit card. And here it says this is the homebody and the seeker. So the Hermit is on a personal truth-seeking quest. She spends time alone, soul-searching, and turning inward to find deeper understanding. She is a shamanic hero, finding answers in silence. Embrace the reflection, solitude, and introspection. Maybe turn off your internet for a day or forever. Haha, just kidding. The Hermit withdraws from society to better know herself. She then must return from isolation to share her newfound knowledge. So the Hermit is often shown with a walking stick, lifting a lantern to find the way. My Hermit is a lone hiker, probably somewhere in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And in reverse, there is a danger of tipping over into prolonged isolation, paranoia, loneliness, and even losing your grip on reality. As like I said, I've been both ends of that, where I've got a lot out of my hermit time, but I've also spent times where I felt lonely and yeah, maybe even a little paranoid, who knows. But yeah, I really like that. That's a nice card. This card, this one is lovely. This is from the Tarot of the Abyss. And I think the snake symbol here in this card represents sort of renewal and rebirth. And it's like you can see she's been wandering in the desert alone for some time, soul searching, and probably sort of shedding her own skin, just in the same way as this snake might. I think her hand here is illuminating the way forward, the path forward. And from what I remember from the book about this card, this is her slow sort of wandering journey of enlightenment and of bringing the unconscious into the light. That's something that's very important about the Hermit energy, is bringing the unconscious into the light. Then we've got this one from my Book of Shadows, Volume 2, and to be honest, I don't have a bath anymore. I only have a shower, but if I had a bath, this would be me. There would be a glass of wine on the side of the bath, there'd be candles, books, and my head would be like hers. It would be full of stars and dreams and ideas, and yeah, that's lovely. And then the last card I've got here is somewhat darker, I guess. This is from the Pensive Path Tarot, but I really like this. She's not is she just holding a light. She's not holding a lantern. She's actually like holding like a bedside table lamp. And it's like she's gotten up to come and see who's there. Maybe someone's got her up out of bed, I don't know, but she has brought light where there was darkness, and she looks a little bit fed up about it, I think, from the expression on her face, but I love that card. So yeah, my first card is the Hermit. Where am I going to put these cards? I'm going to put it there. So my second card is the Justice card, and I don't know how many of you this is a favourite for or a deal breaker. It's kind of the card of the Stoic, I suppose, isn't it? The Justice card. It deals with questions such as what is fair, what is fairness, And I like that. I'm a Virgo on the cusp with Libra. I've got Libra and Virgo a fair bit in my birth chart, and I think this idea of fairness and balance and truth really feature quite highly in my life. We've got the pensive path here again, and this is brilliant. You know, it looks like she's about to cave in this man's head while he's asleep, and who knows whether he actually deserves that or not. You know, this is taking justice into your own hands, isn't it? This is a step further than how we would normally see justice, in a kind of cool, collected, detached way. This has emotion attached to it, doesn't it? You can see the emotion in her face, the anger, the hatred, the desire to get revenge. And I suppose that's the dark side of justice, isn't it, really? Because who's to say whether this man deserves for her to do this? We don't know what he's done to her or somebody she cares about. Maybe he does deserve it. Not that I'm advocating violence towards anybody at all, but we've all had moments in life, we've all seen things and heard things where we've just thought, you know, that person doesn't deserve to be alive anymore. And I suppose that's justice at its most extreme, isn't it? Is life and death. We've also got the Sacerdotito Tarot here again, and this is another card I just love. I love that the sword, I think it's the sword of Damocles that she had intended this to be, that's sort of hanging over an eyeball there, isn't it? Over an open eye. And then we've got the scales, which are weighing a feather against a soul. I think that probably is. You know, whether your soul is as light as a feather, that would indicate, I guess, that you've lived a fair and just life. So yeah, I really like that. I really like cards that make me think about that question about what is fairness. Because I guess that depends on the morals and ethics of each one of us, doesn't it, really? We have certain laws in our lands, but real justice, I think, can often come down to individuals, can't it? This card from the Tower of the Abyss, I think, has really got to be one of my favourite justice cards, and maybe one of my favourite cards ever. It's just so powerful. In her eye there, I don't know whether you can see, but there are the scales of justice in her eye, and I just love it. She looks firm but fair, and she looks like if she looked into your eyes, she would see your soul. She would know your truth. Yeah, I think she would look into your eyes, and she would see your soul, and she would weigh and balance your soul in an instant. And I think maybe she challenges our kind of inner and outer deceptions around what's fair and what's not, and our ability to lie and tell the truth, you know, things like that. I know that myself, if somebody looks me in the eye, I could never tell a lie. It's very difficult. So this card here is from the Mystical Cats Tarot, and again, this is a card I love. This is called Consequences in this deck, and you can see this cat has been playing for so long with this ball of twine that he's dragged it through the grass and the brambles, and it's now just completely tangled, and he's caught up in it. And I think if a person didn't come and free him, he might be dragging this around with him for some time. So this is consequences in action, isn't it? It's kind of saying, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And if you are careless and don't think about the consequences of your action, it, you know, it can come back on you. It can cause trouble for you. And then the last card, again, I really enjoy. This is from the Book of Shadows, and this is another card that is showing consequences, real life consequences in action, isn't it? You know, this woman has been wearing high-heeled shoes. She may have been wearing them all day, or she might have been out for the evening, but whatever, for the sake of looking taller, like she's got nice long legs, looking and feeling more attractive, she was prepared to suffer the pain of her feet hurting in these high-heeled shoes. And we've all been there, haven't we? In my younger days, I did that a lot. And now I'm older, I think I've decided that I would rather not be taller or have longer legs and have feet that didn't hurt. So again, it's about weighing up cause and effect, isn't it? It's about weighing up what feels right to you and what doesn't. Next we've got the Queen of Swords, and I think this is one of the cards that I had in common with Astro Boy Ricardo's video. He picked the Queen of Swords as well, and I was surprised. I often think she's not that popular as a card, and I often think she gets a bad rap, you know, she gets a bad deal as being cold and detached and uncaring. But I don't think that that's always the case, and I like to see Queen of Sword cards that show you something slightly different from this image here. She does look very solemn, very stern. You know, all those grey clouds around her. It doesn't look like she smiles very much, does it? So, in one of my new decks that I just got recently, this is the Wizard's Tarot, and this is based on the Harry Potter films. And when I first looked through this and I saw that Molly Weasley was the Queen of Swords, I was a bit sort of, I'm not sure, because she's a great mum, you know, she's a great caregiver, she's very caring with her family. But I suppose I couldn't quite see her as the Queen of Cups, because she is too logical, she is too fair, she is too, she can be quite stoic, I suppose, Molly, can't she? So yeah, I think that she fits the Queen of Swords quite well. Although she cares very much for her family, I think in private she's perhaps like that, and perhaps her public face is more of a Queen of Swords face. I'm not sure, but yeah, I really like that. I like that it's Molly Weasley. I also very much like the Book of Shadows deck again here, because this shows a Queen of Swords who's smiling and engaging and warm and is helping somebody out. You know, it looks like she's helping a friend out. She might be helping a friend problem solve or work something out or make a plan or get organised. And I like that energy. This is the Light Seekers deck, and this Queen of Swords is very powerful, isn't she? We can see she's sat up, she looks quite assertive, she looks in control of herself. She's probably surveying her kingdom from her cushion there, but she doesn't look cold, she doesn't look stern, she just looks powerful, and I like that. Again, the Queen of Swords from the Everyday Witch, she's just beautiful. Although she's grey haired, she's got her sword and her feather. You could see her smiling. She's not cold, she's not detached, she's not stern. She looks like somebody that you would go to for wise counsel, somebody who would be fair and kind, actually. So this one is from the Pensive Path Tarot, and I still sometimes look at this card and just think she doesn't look like the Queen of Swords. You know, she looks more like she might be the Queen of Cups, perhaps. I don't know. But she is the Queen of Swords, and I like it because she's smiling. She looks warm and engaging. She looks perhaps like she might be somebody not to mess with. She's a big woman. She might be somebody not to mess with, but she looks kind of jolly. I like that. I don't know why Reese chose her as the Queen of Swords. She hasn't got to the court cards yet in her videos, so it'll be interesting to see what her reasoning was. And then the last Queen of Swords is the most beautiful Queen of Swords. She is grey-haired and blue-eyed and icy looking, but there's also just something beautiful about her. She doesn't look like she would be mean or stern or harsh. She looks kind and caring. But the key words on this card are quick-witted, independent, honest, principled, intellectual, aloof and divorced. But to be honest, I don't think many of those things are bad things. They resonate quite strongly with me. So yeah, the Queen of Swords, beautiful. I really like those. So we've done the Hermit, Justice, the Queen of Swords. The next card is the Three of Cups. And I've always liked this card, but I don't very often find decks with this card in that really sort of bowl me over. You know, they're all a bit samey, if I'm honest. You often just see the three females together, but that is the Three of Cups energy, isn't it? It's an energy of friendship and sisterhood and joy and celebration and pleasure and connections. And I think that's what we see throughout all of the cards that I've picked here. They're all beautiful. Yeah, I mean, this is lovely, this one. This is the Sasarabito, and this is just lovely. This really has such a feel of being protected and nurtured and part of something, being part of a group of people that care about you, feeling that connection, really. It's beautiful. As is the Light Seekers, just even the colours in this deck, the purples and the lilacs, the spirals on the woman's back there, just beautiful, beautiful energy of sisterhood and connections, again with the everyday witch, beautiful. And the Pensive Path as well. This is one of the few cards in this deck that is quite light and has a real feeling of movement and pleasure and just joyful energy. I love in this card the clothes they're wearing. You can just feel the movement and the energy as they dance together. The real abandonment of them is beautiful. So yeah, I love that. Next we have the Nine of Pentacles, and I think this might be one of Ricardo's choices as well, actually. And again, for me, this is a choice because I'm a Virgo and the Nine of Pentacles is one of my astrology cards, and I think the Nine of Pentacles is a person who's really enjoying being at home. You know, she's really enjoying her home life. There's a real happiness to be found at home, I think, in these cards, the Nine of Pentacles. It's kind of somebody that has worked hard, that has invested a lot of time and energy and money, perhaps, in their home, but they've made a beautiful and comfortable and abundant home for themselves. This one is from the Silver Witchcraft tarot deck, and I'm not really sure. It looks almost like there's cobwebs behind her onto that pentacle, and I'm not sure why she's saying shush either with her finger there, but there's something about it that I really like. You know, we can see a very similar thing going on there to the Rider-Waite-Smith, can't we? Perhaps she's just saying, you know, this is my home, this is my space, and I'm enjoying it, and don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody about it. Let's keep it to ourselves. This one is the mystical cats again, and how beautiful is this? The cat laying there, surrounded by the flowers through this little hole in the wall. It's like this almost secretive little place of a garden that, oh, I would love to have myself, to be honest. As I said, there's a real pleasure to be had at home in these cards. This Nine of Pentacles here has that similar feel to me. We've got the bird, we've got the pentacles, we've got the flowers, the herbs. We've got this independent female energy of somebody who's just living their best life, really, I guess, just enjoying themselves. This is from the Haunted House Tarot, and I chose this because, again, this similar feeling of this beautiful woman, completely at home, surrounded by nature, surrounded by the things that she's worked hard for, the things she's built, the things she's grown, and she's beautiful. Same thing in the Everyday Witch. Again, I would like to live in this card. I would like to sit under this apple tree with my glass of wine, with my food, with my book, in my lovely dress. Just gorgeous. As is this. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is from the Pensive Path Tarot again. And again, this is one of the few beautiful cards in that deck. This lovely young girl here in her garden with the peacocks and the grapes. It all just speaks of abundance and beauty, and a love of life. And the last card is from the Enchanted Soul Tarot again. And again, a similar feel. This beautiful woman adorned in leaves and peacock feathers, living her best life, I guess. Happy at home, independent. She's worked hard. She's enjoying the fruits of her labour. The key words on here are luxury, abundance, wealth, success, independence, opulence, thrive, and comfort. And see, I would never particularly see this, the Nine of Pentacles, as about wealth as in money particularly. It's about having a wealth as in a quality of life, I think, more for me. And then the last card that we've got here, and this is not a happy card in the same way as the Three of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. It's the Ten of Swords. But to me, it's a very powerful card, and it's a very important card. And I don't like to see the Ten of Swords actually in this way as the Rider-Waite-Smith deck here. I don't like to see a person laying on the ground, stabbed in the back, with darkness and blackness all around them, because to me that just means it's the end. You know, although we've got a little bit of gold in the sky there, there's not, for me, enough of a new beginning in this card. There isn't really, to be honest, in this one, but I don't know, I find this card so powerful. It can make me cry quite easily, actually, but I think this poor old cat has been driven out of its clan. It's been beaten up, wounded, and it sort of skulked away to lick its wounds. And this could be the end of the journey for this cat, or it could be rescued, it could be taken in by another clan, it could recover. It's not over yet, I think, is what's important about this card. And perhaps the lightning in the sky there behind it could be that spark of that new beginning, that spark of new life, of a new start. And we see that very clearly here in the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. We've got the 10 swords in the ground, but coming out of them are what are like butterflies, like it's a spring day and the air is full of butterflies, and there's that transformational energy in quite a similar way to the Death card, I suppose. This is the Light Seekers Tarot again, and this is beautiful. We don't see anybody lying on the ground in this 10 of Swords. We see 10 crows, which might represent that sort of death energy. But very clearly here is a new start. The sky is golden and light, and she's wearing a golden and yellow dress, and she's facing towards the sun. It's very definitely a new start. In the Everyday Witch, although we've got a person on the ground with the swords in her back, it's not over yet. You know, the person is running away. She's reaching for her broomstick. The sun is rising in the sky. There is every chance here of a new beginning. As there is with the Book of Shadows here, there's a phoenix that has arisen out of the flames. So something has ended and something new is beginning. And that is what the 10 of Swords represents to me. This one, I love this card. It is kind of, it hasn't got that glorious new beginning energy that I like and I've spoken about in the other cards, but I just think this is a genius card for the 10 of Swords. This makes me ask so many questions about this person on the ground. You know, how they ended up on the ground. Did somebody stab them or kill them? Did they get run over? Did they walk there and just collapse? Or was somebody with them? Will they recover? Will somebody find them? And in the top of this card here, with the light at the top changing and sort of reflecting onto the water here under the trees, it would indicate that this is not the end for this person, that they're still kind of reaching out with their hand there, and that help will come to them. And then the last two cards I've got here are from the Tower of the Abyss. And one of these cards, let's just move that over. One of these cards, you may have seen me show you them before. This is the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith version of this card, and this is a new alternate sort of take on this card. And I think in the traditional card here, we have got the man on the ground with the swords in his back, but we don't quite know what's going to happen here with this person. Was it this person that did this? Is this person coming to help them, or are they coming to finish the job off? You know, this person here has got his hand raised. It's not necessarily the end, is it? This is kind of a card of rock bottom. It's a time of having to take radical action, I think, this 10 of Swords energy. But it's certainly not the end. It's just the end of a situation. It's the end of a phase. It's obviously swords, so it's stuff of the mind. It's not a physical ending as such, but it could be the end of a cycle of negative thinking. It could be the end of being stuck in a certain thought process. So I think to see it like this is not always the best way. In fact, I do quite like this card. So this is the alternate card. And in this one we see an older man who obviously has gained wisdom through his age. We see the owl that represents that wisdom. And I think she meant for these alternate cards to sort of represent more the numerological explanation rather than just the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith explanation for the card. And so this being number 10 is a decad, and so therefore it represents really more of a positive growth, a positive increase in wisdom and mental power. This is mastery of the mind. It's sort of coming full circle of being able to learn from your mistakes and to gain wisdom and to learn and to grow, and to be wise. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I think that's a fantastic tag. I would really hope that some other people might have a go at this. I think that this tag was started by Astro Boy Ricardo, maybe, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Your name may be Ricardo. I don't know what your name is. But I think it was 4 or 5 months ago that you did this tag. And so I'm sure it would be lovely if some other people wanted to have a go at it. I've really enjoyed looking through my cards and thinking about what my cards mean to me, and what really I look for in a deck, and what my own personal interpretations of some of these cards are, what they mean to me. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I shall see you again soon. I just thought there was something else I wanted to say, but I don't think there is. No, I don't think there is. So I hope that you're all well. I hope that everybody's happy, and please do leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts about these cards, or what your favourites might be, what are deal breakers for you. And I shall see you again soon. Thank you.